We all love stories. I mean, I love stories. That's how I began a vocation discernment. It was my love of stories. I was an English teacher. I pursued drama for a while, acting here in New York for a few years. I was terrible at the business, but just that sense of engaging in stories. Yes, I suppose it starts as play acting as children, but that's always a part of us, to be part of something bigger, and that's exactly what faith does. Through stories, tells us we're part of something bigger. So whether we've had a good day or a bad day, don't despair, because this is all still working itself out in a timeless way. I grew up in northern New Jersey. I went to Catholic school. I went to St. Mary's in Closter. We had the Felician nuns and the Carmelite fathers, O-Carms, and that solidified a lot of my faith. I suppose before that, of course, my mom was, as I guess for most people, our moms are the primary witness to the faith. The bedtime stories always included some Bible stories for children. So all of those things stayed with me very much. I went to public high school because they had an excellent music department and a choir and theater, and I was already really interested in story, the power of story. I would walk up onto 60th Street and cross over, so I never saw the front of St. Paul the Apostle Church. So from the side, with all and at that time it was still dark and very black, they hadn't cleaned the outside stone of the Paulist Church. I thought it was an armory. So I'm walking past the armory for a year or so. I didn't even know it was a church. So kind of funny. The first time I stepped into St. Paul's Church was during that period. There was a concert of sorrow over the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was an original orchestra work. I was very impressed with that. I wasn't quite a church attender at the time, so I didn't consider coming to the church. But in the end, it was, I think the sensitivity of story and of music is what rekindled my Catholicity and brought me back to church eventually. While I was still working at the Met for a lark, I did supernumerary work just for the Tosca. As the last thing I did on a professional stage was that they had me as a priest in the Tosca profession at the Te Deum at the end of Act 1. So that was fun. And it was at that point, because of a lot of family issues as well, that I started taking my faith more seriously, started coming to St. Paul the Apostle, because it was just down the street from where I worked. My faith was being nurtured. I was enjoying being back in the church. I became a lector, and then a Paulist at the time said, we love the way you read, the way you proclaim with a real sense of depth and sincerity and clarity because of all my acting training. And he said, I want you to give workshops to the other lectors, and that was the seed of my vocation discernment. What appealed to me to the Paulists when I first met them here in the 80s was that real sense of more affirmation. It was no via negativa on the way to Jesus, and even the cross there was some sense of responsibility and joy, and then the interaction with the culture, which is where I was coming from, between literature and theater and the opera and everything. I was ordained at Good Shepherd because here, the mother church, was not to have finished its renovations. And Good Shepherd, the Paulists had a long history at Good Shepherd also, so there was a lot of joy and excitement up there. Everybody else was ordained here, which kind of fits because even the mission that I do with the drama and the music and the songs, I'm sort of a Paulist of a different color, I guess. That was the most emotionally piercing moment for me. In fact, that's where I started to cry. When I was on the floor, it's during the Litany of Saints. The full weight of dedicating my life to Jesus, to claiming more continuity with the story of the saints as they're being called upon to pray for me. Childhood memories of statues that my mom had in the house. It's sort of like everything was impacting me the most there. For me, that was extremely, extremely powerful. Well, still and always is the Christmas story. I think because it highlights not only that God is so with us, the intimacy that we can have with God as a human being in Jesus, but also the importance of every human life. I think the Christmas story makes it emphatic that we belong to God, every child belongs to God, everyone is part of a bigger story, just as Jesus entering into the world was already part of the story of Israel. He didn't just drop in out of the middle of nowhere, and how very, very important that is.